I remember in the past, I'd always have to be like, all right, I have to have an Instagram page, I have to have video, I have to have this.
Right,
this.
right,
Now it's
right.
just like, well, I'm just going to put it out there and then
Yeah. Fuck it.
keep
Yeah.
doing that. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, I guess we can start talking about the first 5 episodes. How do you think it's been going so far?
Yeah, it's fun. I think we're finding our groove. I like the guests have been fun. Yeah, I think it's fucking going great.
Nice.
I think it's a smooth operation we got going. We got a good time slots picked. We got we got our thing. It's good. It's good.
I think one thing I've learned from doing all the editing is I say yeah all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So I have to quit doing that.
Oh, I do that a lot. I think you probably notice I breathe loudly into the mic as I exhale and start laughing. And sound like a fucking moron. I do that a lot.
Did not notice that, but that's funny.
You should notice it.
But thanks for listening to the first 5 episodes. This is episode number 6. Pardon my growth. We're up on YouTube. We should be up on the rest of the RSS feeds next week, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get it up there for sure.
Yeah. And then I think I talked to you too about building like a network eventually, so that'll be fun. Keep going with that. So if you got any ideas, let me know, or just do your own thing too.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now and you want to do a podcast,
I was talking to you.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
if you want to do a podcast, and you think it would fall in well with the pocket of what we got going on, or maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it's something totally different, but you want to put it somewhere. You want a home for it. We are looking at trying to create a little bit of a network, just to nothing crazy, just so that there's like a home for some of these things or whatever.
I think the network is like Everything Nothing Network, ENN.
Yeah.
So I was looking at trying to make logos for that, and then a couple other ideas, or maybe if you want to get yours back up, the voice memo for later, and then
sure.
Post 4, and then When Life Hands You Lemon. I can't wait to start that one, talking about Lifetime Movie Network movies.
Oh, nice.
Just reviewing those, When Life Hands You Lemon. So I think there'll be
that's cool,
quite a bit. And then another one too. I think I'm just dream journaling right now.
Oh,
via talking, but the Smoke Pit Studios is one I've always wanted to do again, which is interviewing music people, and I think we met those musicians up in Waterloo, in the band that fuck, what's his name, Chris something. It's the guy that I talked to at the end of the Octopus show. With the two chicks were, what do you say, they're the Rumors out of Waterloo or something like that. So seems like that was pretty cool. But
cool.
That Josh Felling, he's a musician as well. He's got a band, so it'd be cool to interview him and his band, and so a lot of things coming down the pipeline for this. So hopefully link up with David Collins at some point.
Yeah,
him, get him
DC himself.
Yeah,
that guy.
I started a riff in the. So I switched one of my Instagram channels over to him, the Matt Shane Secret podcast, and people did not like that. People are pissed. I lost 500 viewers one day. But then,
wow.
I mean, it's fine, but in the comments, they're always getting super pissed.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to MSSP clips and stuff like that? It's and then I look at their profile, they're following 800 people. It's how do you know?
Yeah.
How did you figure this out?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, but
yeah,
David Collins is slowly taking over, and that'll be fun to see.
That's nice.
So, recap of the week. How'd the week go for you?
I think it was pretty solid. I'm trying to think back.
Tuesday was one of the weirder. I had back-to-back weird nights, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I had some new stuff I was doing.
It was the the business people at Iowa Brewing Company.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah.
A new setup,
yeah,
and
there's
a
bunch of a corporate thing or something was going on. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Zach got up there and murdered it in front of him.
Yeah, I did pretty good. I was super happy to go second, because then they all fucking left. Did they leave? I think they left right after me, I think.
They all stood up and clapped. And
which I don't. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I realize now, saying that, I'm it sounds like, oh, you fucking drove them out. It's I think they had fun when I was there. I think they were just getting ready to call it.
They're Jesus Christ, that's a professional. There's nothing more after
it's
this.
not going to get any better than this.
Yeah, I think they slowly started filtering out after you.
Yeah,
because I think Alice said it the best. He's welcome to hell.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Jesus.
But Tuesday was Iowa Brewing Company. What was Thursday? Thursday was Joystick was pretty packed for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, Joystick was really packed. Had an okay set there. I don't know, it was fine. It was kind of hit and miss, but yeah, it was good to have a large, reasonably responsive crowd to like kind of gauge things better. It's always good to have like a better crowd to like really gauge like where you're at with stuff. Especially like right now, a lot of the stuff I'm doing is new, and I don't know like. I don't know what I don't know anything of that I'm actually, you know what? I only know one joke that I've got right now that I'm pretty sure I'm keeping for a good while. And because it like started off bombing, but then it's been like building, and I've started getting like consistent laughs at a certain part of it. And I'm like, okay, I think this is like a thing, is the relationship maker. I don't know if you remember that one.
The quesadilla?
Yeah, the quesadilla maker. And then, talking about a relationship maker. And people have been consistently laughing, I think, at the part where I talk about like, what did I say? Something about like how that's how like marriages or whatever, that like, sometimes it's like better if you're like your skin melting off, like slowly dying makes it better or whatever. Like I'd say something like that. And I think enough people will hear that and be like, oh, I've been in relationships where it was hard and whatever. And so they immediately click with that. They're like, I get that. Like relationships just suck sometimes. Like even good relationships, right? Like you can be married happily and just have days where it's like, man, fuck this. Like it's so stupid.
I gotta have those days to appreciate the better ones.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that joke's been doing well for you.
Yeah, so I think, but yeah, it's weird because that is one of those jokes where like when I first did it the first couple times, I was like, oh, this one's gonna be thrown away for sure. Like there's just no way, because it's like it was just bombing each time. And then I don't remember what I changed. I started adding I added one other thing to it, like kind of.
I think the visual of the quesadilla maker being pressed down and the cheese melting, and you're like, that's people's skins. You just put it together.
Yeah. I think maybe that is part of it. Is I started being a little more like grotesquely visual about it and like talking about like how that. Yeah, like highlighting, because that's the funny part, is that like that would improve it, that your skin's melting off, and you're like, all right, well at least I feel something now.
Yeah,
like,
at least I'm feeling it.
Oh, man. I should talk about that's. I should like add that as like some sort of tag. Like at least I feel something now.
Yeah, you should.
I don't know. Fuck yeah. Oh, I had a new joke that I did. I did it on Thursday for the first time, I think. So I don't think so. You probably haven't even heard it yet about baby gender is what I have written down here.
Oh, do you know it yet?
It's like basically I'm like doing a joke about, and this is one of those jokes I'm excited to work on it because it's like one of those jokes where if you do it wrong a certain way, the left will all hate you. If you do it wrong the other way, the right will all hate you. And if you do it wrong in a really spectacular fashion, everyone will hate you. But if you nail it just right, they'll all love it.
What's the joke?
So the joke is basically that that we're not doing a gender reveal because, fuck that. That's stupid. But that like I'm not like I'm kind of feel like I'm old and in the way nowadays. Like I don't know, like there's like a whole people talk a lot about gender and how like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do since I've never had a baby before. Like, am I supposed to, like, when it comes out of the womb, am I supposed to just start interrogating my baby? Like, what are you? Or, like, who are you? Like, what's your politics? Like, because, like, everyone has to have, like, a side on everything now. And so, like, and then I have this thing that I'm talking about where it's like, or I could be one of the lines I have kind of in my back pocket to say to, like, appease the left side of things is be like, I could be, like, a conservative dad and just start yelling at it about, like, family values or something.
Yeah.
And then I have to come up with something still for, like, the other side maybe of, like, but yeah, there's like
the left?
To like appease the right almost for this, like what to get them in on it. Like
I ain't gonna let them wear a dress.
yeah, something like that. Like I don't know, but so I don't have it. Like I just did it on Thursday, and I don't have anything really figured out yet. But like, yeah, I'm excited to work on that one. So,
do you guys know the baby gender, or you're not doing a reveal?
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
There's an ultrasound tomorrow. We should be finding out. What am I shooting for?
A healthy baby.
Yeah, that's true. It's very much a healthy baby. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. I feel like if I had to pick, if it was like, okay, you can push like a blue or a pink button, and there's so many people listening to this and that mad, like, like just the idea that it'd be blue and pink buttons, that it'd be like super gendered or whatever. But if I had to pick, I'd probably press the pink button. I think I would like a daughter. But it'd be cool to have a son too. I don't know. Yeah.
Man,
I think that's
multiple,
where I stand right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny, though, how the left would get so mad about a joke. Or the right would, too.
Yeah.
It seems like the left would be a little bit more...
The left would be
just
more
isn't funny.
trigger happy about this. They'd be they'd be ready to get mad right away.
But it's like,
right?
worry about yourself. Maybe that's their big problem is you're not doing your own thing. And then you have to be pissed off about everybody else.
Yeah.
Coming from a formerly left-leaning person. That now I'm just moderate. I just don't care about politics, but...
There's this funny like dumb like little podcast bit that Chris D'Elia did before about like I don't know if you've seen where he talks about being pushed over to the right, and he created this character called like Right Chris, and it's like this fucking bird that like you have to see it. If you just go or just YouTube like Chris D'Elia Right Chris or something, it's pretty funny.
Oh, Chris D'Elia, okay.
Yeah, it's like one of those I mean it's typical D'Elia style. It's like over the top, cartoonishly stupid, but it's pretty funny if you like that kind of humor. Yeah,
I've always known Chris D'Elia from Workaholics. That's it. Did you ever see that?
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah. He's Topher.
Okay, he was in one
He's
of
a pedophile.
Yeah,
he was. I think it was like episode 4 of season 1. Pretty sure.
Dang, in Workaholics.
Yeah, he played this. Well, yeah, what were you gonna say?
That's crazy because he was also in I think it's called You on Netflix. Also as a
3?
creepy like pedo kind of dude almost.
Yeah, and then real life, that's what he is too.
He's done that multiple times as characters. That's kind of weird. Jesus.
I think that's his real life character as well.
Yeah, it could
from all
be.
the stuff he's gotten in trouble with. Do you think he'll talk to your baby about their gender and stuff, or you just kind of let them live their life and
dude.
just not bring
It's gonna be
it?
so weird. I don't know.
Are you left leaning or are you right leaning or moderate?
I don't even know anymore. I feel like if I'm describing my own politics and I'm just like, and I'm like ignoring the dumb shit people are going to react to of like, but you think this, what, like if I'm just in a vacuum talking to like myself in a mirror of like, what are your politics? Like to myself, I would describe myself as being left leaning, but like
progressive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's a label I used to use for myself all the time, that I'm progressive. I'm like progressive and left leaning, but then like progressive left politics went so fucking left that I was like, what is wrong with you guys? Yeah. And then like as a reaction to them, I look like I'm right leaning now, but I'm actually like, I don't think my views they've shifted a tiny bit maybe, but I don't think they've really actually shifted that much. They're mostly still left. If anything, like, so they were like, I don't know if I'm for those that are listening and can't see anything right now, I've got a notebook thing in front of me. If the right side page is like right leaning stuff, the left is like left leaning stuff or whatever, I was like in the middle of the left page, or maybe like a little further left, like maybe on the left third, right? And then if anything, I've moved over these days to maybe I'm like at the halfway of the left page, maybe slightly further, so like kind of closer to the middle, but I'm still on the left page. But like progressives now are so fucking insane that they think I'm all the way over here on the right page.
Yeah.
That like that's their view of me now, which is wild.
You're a Trumper.
Yeah,
January 6th.
Yeah, basically.
January 6th.
They may as well.
It's such a
well
binary way of thinking. Where it's like if all your views aren't left leaning, you're obviously a far right, alt right person. Which is like farthest away from the truth you can be, but that's what a lot of people think, fight you about.
I like those moments though. I like it when somebody pin you down as like one thing, and then like they get into this thing and they're like, oh yeah, I bet you do, blah blah, and then you get to go like, no, I actually agree with you on this.
Yeah.
And then they look fucking dumb as fuck for like judging that right away. I love those moments, dude.
Well, it's like the idea constellations we were talking about in episode 2 or
something like that. Yeah, the ideal constellations. Yeah. That's what it is. Because I'm like, it shouldn't be so rare, but I feel like it's so rare. Like I'm one of those people where it's like I don't have idea constellations that I follow. I just have stars. There's just stars that I like. Oh, I like this star. I like that star. I don't look at like the constellation and be like, eat it all like fucking Pac-Man, waka waka waka, just fucking eat it all.
Yeah.
I see a couple of them.
There's times now too. It's like you have to have an opinion about everything, when in reality, you don't have to have an opinion about anything.
Right. You can just not know what you think about stuff.
Yeah. Like abortion.
It's like, okay. Yeah.
Right now, abortion is not a topic that I need to be involved in.
Right.
Because hey, I'm like not knocking up random chicks.
Yeah.
B, I'm like mature enough where it's not like that's going to happen. And then C is like, if I do find somebody, we have a kid, I'm not going to worry about like aborting it. So it's like,
right.
But then it's like, well, what about women's rights? But then you can get into like the whole veteran thing. It was like, what do you think about veterans' rights?
Right.
If like some random person that would never serve was telling me like how veterans need certain rights or whatever, like I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you don't. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like yeah, and I'm not going to get pissed if somebody doesn't have an opinion about something versus if somebody does. It's just like,
of course.
I don't know. That was one of the things that I always took away from it now. But yeah, but apparently Kim Reynolds is ruining the world, and so is Trump. I don't know. It's kind of funny when people start arguing about Trump because it's like he hasn't even been in office for 4 years.
Right.
And it's just like, but it's like, it's Trump. It's like,
who
do you think you are that like, I remember somebody I used to know was very, hated Trump. She couldn't say his name at all. It's like 45 all the time. And it's just like, who do you think you are that your biggest problem in the world is Donald Trump?
Right.
Like, you, nothing else. You're not taking, ownership of it, but teach their own.
Yeah.
They're on their journey of growth.
Yeah. Everyone's on their own growth journey. A lot of people stagnate and they don't do much growing, but they are technically on, they're on the path. It's just, they just choose to, they get up to this log and they're like, I'm fucking tired. I'm going to sit here for a while. And they just don't move for a while.
Yeah.
But they don't
yell
even
at people walking by you.
Yeah. They don't even get a say though. They're still sitting on that path. They're still on that log, just sitting there, and they're just choosing to not move. But it's like, bitch, you're still on the path. Yeah. You're still,
don't get in other people's way or.
Yeah. You don't get to tap out of life. Well, you can. It's called suicide. Sorry. It's called deletion. I just realized if we're putting these on YouTube, YouTube's fucking crazy nowadays. So it's.
Oh, you can't say suicide?
Yeah, you should probably like edit that part out a little bit. I was talking about self-deletion. That was people delete things sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, that's one of those trigger things. I don't know how bad it is now, but there are certain things like that on YouTube. I know, at least in the past, that I've seen where it's like people have had shit completely nuked just from like those little things like that.
Really?
Yeah. So
I'm not here.
Yeah.
But,
damn.
Yeah.
Got to find ways to talk. That's the way around it. That's because it's funny because if you're online and if you're around like edgy people that talk about like edgy stuff, you'll notice that like people still are talking about these things. It's not like they stop talking about it. They just start using code words so that they don't get their shit nuked by an algorithm that's like trying to like flag stuff that it's hearing or whatever or seeing,
It's weird. I was trying to do that too.
Yeah.
And just let people talk about what they want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of suicide, probably Thursday night was probably the closest I've ever. No, I'm just kidding. I went to Rhythm City, the casino.
Oh yeah, sure.
I emailed whoever's putting it on. I think Dana Moss Peterson.
Oh, okay, sure.
And I was like, "Hey, is there any room?" There's like a 16-person contest, and I was like, "He's like, I can't get you in this month. I'll get you in next month. But if you want to come by, I'll put you on standby in case nobody shows up."
Sure, cool.
So I showed up, and then we were on standby, me and Delicious.
Okay, yeah,
Dubuque. But the two people didn't show up, so he's like, "Hey, I'll put you on like 12th or 13th." I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Yeah.
And then right before we're about to go up, he's like, actually, the guy showed up, so you're going to do 3 minutes at the end when we're counting votes. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll take any chance I can get up. And then I went up there, and he said my name wrong. He's like, Brian, right? Is it Brian? I'm like, what? So I was like walking up, and then he's like, Brian Farrell, who had went up just previous. I was like, no, it's Matt Ferry. And he's like, okay, well, good luck. And then it was just like, I looked up, and then everybody was like voting, tallying up their votes.
Right.
And it was like probably 40 people there. And I just looked around, nobody was watching. And
Jesus.
I bombed. It was probably the worst bomb I've ever had because I just like started telling a joke, and I was like, said something, nobody laughed. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. But then I did get one person started laughing like hysterically.
Yeah.
I remember, and I was like, oh, she gets it. And everybody else started laughing. So then it was kind of got back into it. But then I'm very much feed off the crowd. I've learned. Like,
yeah.
If they're not engaged, I was just like, I'm just talking up here. But it turned out terrible.
Yeah.
It only gets better. And then I texted you. I was like, hey, is it joystick? And then I was like, maybe I'll double down. Yeah. It was for the best. I just didn't need it.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But that was pretty.
Holy shit.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah. There's I don't know. I have to get better at just talking when nobody's paying attention. But it was a new room. It was kind
Right.
of a spread out room. I've noticed like I've been going to a lot more. Octopus was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun up there at Octopus.
Yeah.
But like that's a I don't know. Would that be considered a club? Like a bar? That's like a music bar almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like the bar. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Casinos
hard to,
I've always heard casinos are very tough, and I think this was.
I've heard that too for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
I've never done a casino before.
We should sign up for the next Rhythm City.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the 28th, I think.
Okay.
It's like the last Thursday each month, or this time it's the second last, so it's like the 20th, I think.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, I'll let you know.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool to do.
Should do the Speakeasy too, in Rock Island.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the third Friday of each month or something.
Okay.
Or second Friday. Yeah, let you know with that too.
Oh, there's usually these places. They usually have like decent crowds on those
Yeah.
nights, or
The Speakeasy is like 100 plus people
oh,
a couple weeks ago
Hell
on
yeah.
Friday.
That's cool.
That was fun. That's where I think the more people, the better for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know like the less people, like when there's only like 3 or 4 people in the crowd, it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't do it.
Well, it's like, yeah, it's hard to, yeah, it's like when you have like just a small amount of people, it's hard to like psych yourself up to be like, this is a thing, because you look out and you're like, this isn't a thing. There's nobody here.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it doesn't feel, yeah, there's this weird thing where, and I like, I've noticed this about myself, is that like sometimes, like, I always do better if there's a decent amount of people and my attitude walking up to the mic is, this is like a show.
Yeah, yeah.
If I treat it like a show, no matter how dumpy of a mic it might be, if I treat it like a show, I usually will do better because I put in more effort or whatever. If I let it creep into my head that this is a shitty mic, then it comes out of my comedy that this is a shitty mic. Now, I can play that up sometimes and be like, wow, what a piece of shit is this night, and like just roast everything around me.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes that can work and be like funny to people, but for the most part, like, yeah, I need to just treat it like it's a show. But yeah, that's hard. It's so hard to do if it's not. But yeah, because it's weird. It gets in my head sometimes where it's like I'll go to a meh kind of mic, right? Where it's like it's not the worst thing ever, but it's not great. I'm not inspired, you know. I'll get up there and I'll just kind of like, not phone it in, but I'll just get through my material. And if it's not really working, I just kind of get through it to the end, and I'm like, that's it, and then I leave. But if I go to like a show, if I'm booked on a show and like there's a good crowd, like there's a whole different energy inside me, and I always do better, like
Yeah.
a lot better. And so it's weird because you'll have those moments where you're like, hang on, why is that guy inside me? Why doesn't he come out more? Like what's going on there? Like why can I not reproduce that?
Yeah.
And then it's like I have to reconcile the fact that like, yeah, part of it is the crowd, but it's definitely not all the crowd. There's some of that's my fault too, that I'm just not bringing that energy or something. That I need to do better at that. But yeah.
Where's the threshold for that, do you think? For them to come out versus not come out? Like if there's like 10 people at
Oh,
Joystick
sure. Like
versus
what's the number of people, or what's
what's the vibe?
Yeah, I think it's a range of like, there has to be, let's call it like 10 plus people. So like if there's at least 10 people, but here's the thing though, because it can change. Like those 10 people have to be really engaged.
Yeah.
If there's 10 to 20 people, but they're all really engaged, that can be like a decently fun environment. And then of course, yeah, if there's 50, 100 plus people, then it's like, it becomes it's way easier. If there's less than 10 people, like it can be okay, but like those people have to be like super wanting to laugh, like in the mode where they're like, I'm here at a comedy club and I want to laugh and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then if I get like a decent response from them, I'm kind of off to the races. But yeah, I feel like the number in my head, I feel like is like, it has to be like more than 10 people is kind of like where things start to get better, where it's like, this feels like it's some sort of a comedy show going on or something. I don't know. Now, I guess that's like in a smaller room though too, right? If it's like a bigger room and there's only 10 to 20 people, you know, if it's like a really big room, maybe that feels way shittier then, and it's like not. But I don't do a lot of like really big rooms usually. A lot of the rooms I do, I mean, which makes sense at this stage, and you know, like most of the time it's a pretty like small room or something, and
Yeah.
so 10
well.
plus people is like usually enough for that, I guess.
Do you think that person came out of Iowa Brewing Company the other night?
Oh, what person?
The person in you that wants to be
sorry. Stupid. Yeah, okay. I got you. You're like, I created like a metaphor or whatever, and you're like, so that metaphor, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the challenges of like, I know some people I could tell were very scared of like the business people that were there. Like the people that were doing their happy hour and stuff. I could tell like
right.
people were very, very like afraid.
Right.
But, like to me, I wanted to go up to Al and be like, hey, can I get up there? But I was like second last. So I was like,
yeah.
I'm not going to jump up that much, but
yeah, I think I was like, I think I was pretty at peace. I mean, I was a little nervous, but like, I think when there's a crowd like that where like I know that like they're not here for this, but like you can tell that like some of them are like they're giving it a chance or something, right?
Yeah.
I think usually that's encouraging to me because I'm like, oh, these people are actually like they're not even here for this. Like they probably don't give two shits about this, but they're actually being polite and giving it a chance. I'm like, that's pretty fucking awesome. And so that gets me kind of pumped up of like to that because that lets me know that it's like if I kill it right now, I'm gonna feel it. I'm really gonna. So all I ever want is a chance to kill it. If I feel like there's no chance for that because just the energy's all wrong, then I just get defeated before I even walk on stage. I'm like, fuck this, dude. I hate this so much. But if I feel like there's a chance, even if it's gonna be hard, I'm like, awesome. I have an at bat. I have a shot at being able to do something here. And I like being challenged in that way. I like to have those challenges, but I have to feel like it's within. It's kind of like I'm gonna make a dumb reference to cubing again because this is me. I don't
think you've ever done that.
If you're new here at Pardon My Growth, I do speed cubing. It's this hobby I have. It's the Rubik's Cube and other puzzles similar, and I try to solve them as fast as I can. There's competitions, everything. It's really nerdy. Anyway,
you should do it like the guy Forrest Gump, Bubba. I got scubing, I got cubing, I got throwing, I got just go down the list.
I have so many hobbies, dude. But yeah, like it's when you're like getting into a new event, which I kind of been doing lately, getting into the Mega Minx is the puzzle. It's like there's a point where at the beginning where it's like really boring because you're just like, man, it's like I suck at this. This is terrible, right? But then there gets a point where like when you are improving quickly and it's starting to get to the point where you feel like you don't totally suck, but you're just not good yet. But there's this sweet spot where you're not fast enough yet that it becomes hard to improve, but you're not slow enough to be bored of it and be like, this sucks. So you're in this little sweet spot where you always have this decent chance where you're like, I have a shot at like beating my old personal best time or whatever, right? And so that gets exciting because you're excited to like try to improve and beat that time. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that's what it feels like with comedy, where it's like if you have that chance where it's like it feels like there's I have a good shot if I do well to pop off and get like have a good set, then you're excited about that possibility. Even if you fail, you're like, oh well, I'll get it next time. But you just want to have that excitement around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good to have excitement.
No, for sure. Yeah. Well, especially when it keeps building off each other, building off itself and stuff. And yeah. That sweet spot is like between like I'm the greatest person ever versus I'm like just another person.
Yeah.
Like sweet spots right in there.
Yeah. You don't want to be like before that point where you're like part of you is pulling towards like I'm the worst ever or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like very uninspiring. Yeah.
Do you have any scubing coming up or anything? Or any competitions for that?
Nothing yet. Not for right now. I'm hoping to, my goal is to like hopefully have a competition, like register for some sort of competition, like maybe towards the end of the summer or in the fall, because then that'll give me a lot of time since I started this new event that I'm like trying to practice and get good at. It'll give me like months of time to like practice more and more to feel like I have a shot at like getting some not at like winning or anything, but like I'll feel like I have a shot at getting some like respectable, like decent times that I'm like proud of, like where I'm not just shitting it out and being like, this was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
all right.
But it'll have to line up with it being like, a competition that offers that event, because not all competitions have every event, because there's a lot of events. So, right, some competitions only have like 3 or 4 events, and some bigger competitions have like, fucking 10 of them or whatever. So
Okay, so it's like a track meet almost, where it's like
right,
4x1, 4x2, 4x4. It's like the Cuban throwing. Like, what was that one game you were showing me? The
Kendama.
Yeah, Kendama.
Yeah.
Okay, is that a part of it? Is that ever a competition?
They have competitions for that. Yeah, they have like
Probably more like a gymnastics thing where it's like voted on.
It's kind of like, I think for that, I'm not as familiar with those competitions. I've never been to one before, but like, I think it's like you qualify by completing certain, what they call trick ladders, like being able to do like certain types of tricks to like kind of prove that you can do it. And you get into a certain point where then I think you go head to head with people. And like, it's kind of this thing where, I think there's different types. Like sometimes what it'll be is like there'll be like somebody, like there's a card drawn, I think, and it'll just have a trick on there.
Okay.
And then both people have to try to nail the trick, right? And if you get the trick, like you can move on, and like it's kind of like, yeah, basically like passing and failing. Like, did you hit the trick or not?
Yeah, like a game of horse almost.
Yeah, well, and then they have. I mean, I don't know if I can't remember if this is like a pivotal part of these competitions, but they do have like they'll do games of Ken. Where it's like it's horse basically. What?
Of Ken or 10?
Ken, K-E-N.
Okay.
Yeah, Ken, not like kendama, right? It's like the beginning part of it, where like people are like setting tricks, and then someone has to do the trick they did and stuff and whatever. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, and then yo-yoing, they have like, that's one of my other hobbies. They have like competitions where it's almost like a dance type of thing, almost. Where there's like you choreograph your own routine, you make up your own tricks and combos, and it's set to music.
Yeah.
And then you just like but it's like,
what's your go-to music?
What's that?
What's your go-to music?
Oh, for stuff like that, I like any of those hobbies, whether it's like speed cubing or kendama or yo-yo or juggling. I tend towards like electronic, kind of like EDM and things like that type of
Skrillex.
vibe.
Transformers
not quite
having
that.
sex?
Not quite that. That's too like heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, more just like upbeat, fun, whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Some glitch mob or something.
Sure. I'm gonna pretend I know what that is.
Avicii.
Yeah, all that shit. Yeah. I'm down with all of it. Yeah.
Segueing into something that happened to me Saturday at at all these are all in like convention centers, right? Like hotels, like lobby.
Oh yeah, lobbies, a lot of them. Yeah.
Conference
pretty
rooms.
much. Yeah.
You ever seen anybody like pass out during one of them?
Like in the middle of trying to compete or something?
Yeah.
No.
Oh
no.
Saturday, my brother and I were doing a card show up in Madison, sports card, like basketball, like football, basketball, and all that.
Oh sure, yeah.
And we have a pretty busy table. We're in like the back, and there was a bunch of kids that came and they were trading on a corner table. So like,
right
from me to like that, 10 feet away or 15 feet away. What time are we at?
Oh, I was just seeing to make sure it's recording. Oh, it just randomly popped up this thing that said like write error, but it looks like it's still recording. So I don't know. I've seen that message pop up before, but it didn't seem like it ever caused a problem. But yeah, it's still recording. So
all right,
I think we're good. But folks, we're fucking new to like doing all this. Like it's like it's just gonna be problems sometimes.
It's a process.
But, yeah.
But so it was a pretty packed show. There was a lot of people in there. It was pretty hot, and there was probably like 5 or 6 kids like 15 feet away.
Yeah,
they were trading and stuff, and all of a sudden like there was a commotion, and I saw one kid, he like passed out.
Oh,
he was just standing there's like like a sniper would shoot somebody, just drops, and all of a sudden he's just like dropped. So I went over there quick, and his dad was right there with him. He picked him up,
right,
and we got him outside. We like got him some water and stuff, and then all of a sudden my brother called me. He's like, "Hey, there's another one." And I go back in, and then one of the kids was sitting there. He puked all over himself.
Oh my god!
And these kids were like 12 or 13. It was so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they were fine, but I was just like, Jesus Christ, there's something in the air. And
Holy
somebody
shit.
looked back at me like, you asshole. But to me, it was like, well, what's going on with this kid now? And he had just puked all over him. It looked like but it was water that was on the floor. It kind of looked like he pissed himself, but it was just like a bottle of water that he was drinking that he dropped or whatever. But then I got him up, and then we went out to the front too, waited for, I think he called his dad or something like that.
Right.
It was like this whole commotion and stuff like that, but it was pretty funny to see everything just happen like that.
Jesus.
I don't know.
I had someone puke on me in kindergarten. She just like, we're in line. Like this is a memory, like an early memory that I kind of still have. We're like in line, I don't know, walking through the school, like from point A to point B, right? Because everyone, when you're kids, like it's all this single file line. Yeah, you march in a line. So we're in our little marching line, and like she's standing right behind me, and she just and just like pours vomit all over me. And I was wearing my favorite fucking shirt.
Pissed.
Yeah, dude, it sucked. And then like my mom washed it and whatever, but I Tiki shirt, like Lion King.
Rafiki. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I was in the Lion King, but yeah.
You gotta be.
You gotta be. I don't know if you have to be, but
I puked
yeah.
on somebody at boot camp. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
There was it was like the first day we had MREs, wherever. I forget. It wasn't that, but it was this, he was a Mexican guy named Sanchez, and everybody called him Dirty Sanchez. Like, everybody hated him.
Oh, yeah, of
No, it
course.
was a Marquise.
Jesus Christ.
Marquez Sanchez or something like that.
Yeah.
Name. He's like this fat little Mexican guy that nobody liked.
Yeah.
But we're in, like, at boot camp at the end of the night before you go to bed. It's like 8 p.m. Like, they go around and check everybody to make sure, like, nothing's going on with you. Like, you have any, like, like, sores or anything. So
Right.
they did that, and I remember just, like, start sweating. I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta puke. And they dismissed us to go to the bathroom, and it's like all of a sudden 80 guys just had run into the bathroom. I'm like, dude, get out of my way. Like, Marquez, move.
Yeah.
He wouldn't move. He's like, fuck you, Ferry. Say something like that. And all of a sudden I just went, ooh, ah! And I puked all over him, and he just stopped, and everybody like kind of just like was just like, fuck you, Marquez. But then the drill instructor came in. I remember it was Harbison. And he's just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
And like Marquez is like, recruit Ferry puked on me. And I was just like, he looked at me, I was like sweating. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, Marquez, clean that shit up. So they made him clean it up, and he was so pissed at me. It was so funny.
Jesus.
But it was a good time. Yeah.
I like how he told you, fuck you, you puked on him, and then he had to clean it up too. It's like,
everybody
damn.
hated him too. It was so funny.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I felt pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Not for puking on him, but just, just in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of funny.
Man.
That was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. What time we at?
Oh, we're at 37 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? What else we got going on?
Man, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I got that ultrasound tomorrow. That'll be cool. Find out my baby's gender, which matters to me. I want a fucking girl, and she's not gonna fucking become a boy. I don't know. I'm just trying to make
She ain't
people
gonna be
mad.
no trans.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh my God.
Talk about trans stuff if you want.
Oh no.
We're going off the rails.
Holy shit. We should sometime. I don't know. I don't even. Oh man, my brain's fucking melted from the fucking. We don't have to fucking get into it super, but my family being stupid, dude. Oh
yeah, a little family.
Yeah,
feud.
family tiff. Just my mom posted something in our group chat, and then they were arguing about it. Then my sister and brother-in-law left the chat. I'm like, you guys are dumb, dude.
It's kind of funny how like pissed your family can make you.
Yeah.
And then like the week later, like, oh, nothing happened.
Right.
It's like then you realize it's just on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to like settle it, like, but it'll be like one of those in those shows where like two characters like get mad at each other, and then they get into a literal like physical brawl, and then afterwards they're like, "Man, I love you," and like they just have to fight like physically to like get through it, like brothers or whatever. Like, yeah,
you got to Royal Rumble it.
Yeah, maybe we gotta have a rumble. I don't know.
Tag team, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a greaser. They can be Socias. Fucking dumb Outsiders reference.
Yeah. The
Socias. Fucking rich snobby bullshit. Yeah. I don't know though. I'm wondering like if I was in that story, if I would have like made friends with some of the Socias and got into some of the parties, and then I'd be like, man, fuck you greasers, dude. Like these guys are cool.
That was the Outsiders? Is it the Socialites? Is that what it is?
I don't know did they have like a full. I just remember they went by Socias and greasers. Yeah, it's the Outsiders. They're referenced in like other books by the same author, I think, too. Maybe.
Who's the author? Do you remember?
S.E. Hinton.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that because she was like one of my favorite authors for a while. I read like several of her books. Like, yeah, she wrote The Outsiders when she was like 16.
What was The Outsiders about? I was thinking of West Side Story for some reason.
Oh, sure. No, the Outsiders
are in Tulsa, right?
The Outsiders is basically like these kids in like high school, whatever, and they're like, there's like the snobby upper class people, and then there's like the lower class people, and then like they kind of get into like some sort of like heated exchange happens, like and they're like there's a couple greasers that are like outnumbered or whatever, and they would always have like these brawls and whatever, and like they'd carry like switchblades on them and whatever, but like nothing ever gets that crazy. But then there was like this scuttle that happened, and like they're outnumbered, and then one of the greasers, because he's outnumbered and he's like I think one of them is getting like their heads shoved in a fucking fountain, and like the friend is like worried he's gonna drown, and so he fucking just snaps and he pulls out a switchblade and like stabs the dude, and then he dies or whatever. And then they're like on the run and whatever, and it's just kind of like about this whole thing happening. And then there ends up being like, I can't remember what the thing was, but like there ends up being a fire, and one of the guys that was on the run, I think it's the guy that stabbed the dude, he like ends up going in to save a kid, and then he gets burnt really bad and he ends up dying at the end. And like it's this weird thing where like these kids are fucking hate each other, and things get out of hand and people die, and then like it's just like these, I don't know, like taking a situation like that, and like to me the story is about like well, it's kind of like this lesson my family needs to learn, that there's more important shit than this kind of bullshit, right? It's like things get out of hand and it gets crazy, and then you have regrets of like, why did I let this get this far or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to reread it sometime. It's been a long time since I read it. That's like my generalized sort of aerial view of it from being like years since I've read it, but it's a good book.
It's based in Tulsa, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Tulsa,
Yeah,
Oklahoma?
that sounds right. Yeah, I think
place
so.
is kind of a shit.
Yeah.
I went down there in November, I think. November, December. It was pretty.
Oh yeah.
It was a weird town, just in the middle. Oklahoma's kind of a weird place.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's Iowa without the cornfields. Maybe.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And then there's like Oklahoma City, which is like, you know, whatever, this big metropolis, and then everything else is just fucking yeah.
Yeah, it's like Tulsa. Norman, I think, is a big city there.
Yeah.
Which is like Iowa City. I think University of Oklahoma is there or something.
Oh,
like that.
sure. Okay.
But then I don't really know any of the other cities or anything in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I've been there briefly when I was a kid. Well, no, you know, I think I've been there since then, maybe as an adult, like once, but not like to go there. It was just like passing through. I just remember as a kid, we went on a trip to San Antonio, and we like stuck along the way. But yeah.
San Antonio is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, San Antonio, I remember.
It's way at the southern part of Texas, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Is it? Am I crazy? Is it
southern,
sort of? It's kind of. I think
Austin
it must be. It must be near. I think we went through Austin too, and I think we at one point we were in Corpus Christi. That's pretty south, right? That's pretty far south. Corpus Christi.
So. Yeah.
That's over. Isn't that like by the ocean or something?
By the Gulf.
Maybe. By the Gulf, maybe. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I remember like looking way back on it. It's like I have vague memories of the trip. I remember having a lot of fun and like thinking it was like a cool place. Mm-hmm. It'd be cool to go back as an adult. Well, hell, I mean, if I'm gonna, what I should do sometime as an adult is go to Austin, obviously, and fucking try to go to the mothership and and all that shit. I mean, that's like the comedy capital of the fucking. Well, let's be honest, the comedy capital of the country, which means comedy capital of the world, because the United States is the comedy place. That's like the biggest. Yeah, it's like the most important.
Like, Berlin for it.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he'll go down to Austin anytime soon?
It'd be cool too. I don't know if I don't just logistically, just because I'm having this baby and stuff, I'm not sure like how soon it'll happen, but I would love to get down there sometime. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder I should look into, because it'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool just to go to the mothership and like do an open mic there. I'm not sure like what that's like as far as like what time it is, what day, how like what to expect as far as like, is it something where you'd have to sign up like ahead of time and you might not get in because there's probably a lot of people fucking signing up all the time, I have to imagine. It
would be interesting to see what it looks like there.
Yeah.
But I think there's been a few people that I've seen at like open mics that just talk. Mm-hmm. Even on like those master classes on YouTube that what Ralphie made and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like comedy's the same wherever you are.
Right.
It's just in a different like venue.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's kind of just like same thing there as it is here. Like at the mothership. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it's a lot bigger names, but
sure.
Does that also bring out just the best in people? Where like they go down there like a subpar open micer, all of a sudden it's like a good open micer because of the situation that they're in, or is it
right?
I'm sure there's still like shitty.
Oh yeah,
there's still like one schizophrenic person per open mic, I bet.
Yeah, probably.
There's always like that one schizophrenic guy, the one homeless schizophrenic, or there's like
yeah. Yeah, I think places like that, it feels like it's kind of like it's the same as it is everywhere. It's just like you said, like there's just more opportunity for like people that are trying and like putting in the work. Like it's easier for them to like really like see big gains because they're probably like it's easier for them to be around more funny people like more often because there's like bigger names like kind of in that area and stuff, and so they there's more. I think like it's just like with anything else, like the more exposure you have to like the world class like level, like the elite people, the more exposure you have with those and connection you have with those people, like the easier it is for you to grow because you're getting, you're learning from the best. You're seeing like the best in action or whatever. It's like if you play a sport and you like, if you're scrimmaging against like top athletes, it's going to make you better a lot quicker just because you're facing the best. And so it brings something out of you or whatever, or it doesn't because you're shitty, right? Like, but you have to put in the work. But like, if you do, it can like, it can take you places. Take you not in the like connection way of like knowing the right people. Obviously that's a thing too in comedy, but like just it can take you places as far as like mentally in your head you can go, because everything I feel like everything is like a mental barrier.
What do you mean?
Like any pursuit that you have, anything that you're trying to like get better at, there's always this point you get to where there will be mental barriers. So like, okay, so like...
Is that when imposter syndrome sets in?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. But also it's like just like perceived limitations on yourself that aren't there. So it's like one thing. So, okay, like in juggling, there will be this thing that'll happen where you're trying to... So like what happened to me one time is like I was juggling 6 balls. You gotta, pause. No homo, pause.
No diddy.
Yeah. So I had 3 dudes, right? Their dicks are all in my mouth, and I'm juggling all the balls at the same time. And it's like, I don't remember what the number was, but I kept getting to a point in juggling, like when you're trying to improve at a certain like number of props, you count the catches, right? So you're counting as you're throwing them and catching them. You're counting in your head how many catches you've had. And that's like your measure of progress of like, oh, I did 24 catches. I did whatever, right? And
you
so
6 balls, 24 catches, or at 6 balls, 48. Yeah.
And there's a thing like called flashing and qualifying. So flashing is like if you have 6 balls and you throw all 6 balls up and catch them all one time, that would be called flashing 6 balls. Okay. And if you do twice the way through, so you have 6 balls, if you do 12 catches, that's what we would call qualifying it. So that means like you were able, it's like some sort of level of proof of like, I can juggle this much, right? Like I qualified, whatever that means. I don't know where it comes from. That's just a thing in juggling. But, so you count those catches and that's like how you're measuring your progress. I remember one time like years ago, I was working on 6 balls a lot and I got to this point where I think it was like, I want to say it was like 40 catches where I would hit a point, I'd get a good run going and I'd catch about like 40 catches and I would always mess up the pattern at that point. And like, but like you get to these weird ruts in juggling where like literally you'll just hit that number or you hit around that number every time or a lot of times and it'll always fall apart at that point. And it's like, but why? It doesn't make any sense. And it always ends up being that it's like it's just this mental barrier in your head where you're like, I can't get past 40. And the more you say inside your own head, oh, why can't I get past 40? You're just reaffirming like, I can't get past 40, even though you totally can.
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. And so like as soon as you stop telling yourself that and you just like think about, well, what's going wrong, and then you try to correct it, and you're like, okay, I got this, right? And you just have a little confidence, you get past it, and then you get to like 55, and then you're like, oh shit. And then the next time you get like 70 catches and you're like, now you're just blowing past it, right? Because you're like, it was never a thing that it was never a thing that you couldn't do more than 40. You just were making yourself think that. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with like extreme sports when someone will do a trick that no one's ever done before. And they're like, oh, that trick's I mean, look at like, the classic example is Tony Hawk with the 900 back in the day, right? Yeah. It was this trick that was like, perceived to be like impossible. It's like you just can't do a 900 on a skateboard. There's too much spinning. It's just impossible. And there'd be these guys that would try. Tony tried for decades, and there was other guys that tried, and just nobody could do it. And then 1999, he does it, and then like within a decade, there were several other people that pulled it off. And then like there was a guy that like I remember, I think it was Sandro Diaz. he was like this guy who was a vert skater, and he was like, I think the first guy who did it in a vert run. So it wasn't part of like a best trick competition. He was doing a run, and then he finished his run with a 900 or whatever, or he did it in the middle of the run or something. But it just became unlocked, right? People just do it. In snowboarding, that happened with like 1080s. Like everyone was doing 900s. 1080s were like, some people could do it, but they were so hard. And then all of a sudden, like there was a guy, I think in snowboarding, at least what I remember, there was this guy, Antti Audi, I think he's from Finland or somewhere. He in the Winter X Games, he did 2 1080s in a row. He went back to, he did a 1080, and then he came up the other side and went cab, and he did another 1080. Okay. And that was like, whoa, he did 2 1080s in a row. And then that just became a thing where shortly after, everyone started doing back-to-back 1080s because it's like, well, now you just have to. And it's like, well, why did those guys all of a sudden just like, why wouldn't they have done it before? Did they think that wasn't a good combo? Like, well, no, of course. They just didn't think they could. But then another guy did, and then it's like, okay, well, now I can do it because I know it's possible because I saw him do it. So now I know I can do it. I don't know. It's this weird human thing. We just put these limitations on ourselves, and then like it just takes somebody getting past the limitation, and we're like, oh shit, okay, you can do that.
Yeah, you put those hurdles in front of yourself for some reason, and then
I don't know what that is, but we do that a lot.
Yeah. What's one hurdle in comedy, you think?
That's a good question.
Probably just getting up there is probably the biggest one sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know. I think for me, like a hurdle that I have in comedy is probably that I can't have like a solid set of laughs where like every joke is just bam, bam, bam. And it's just, I have them rolling the whole time.
Yeah.
There is this barrier I have right now where it seems like every time I get some laughs, it's kind of this, and sometimes I actually think I sometimes do it to myself. And I'm not trying to, or I don't think about it, but like, I'll get some laughs. They're on my side. And then I'll do a joke where it's a little risky, and I'll push it, and they'll like still laugh a little bit. And then I'll push it a little further, and then they're like, okay, dude, this is weird. And then they stop laughing. Mm-hmm. But it's like, why didn't I just not push it that far? I could have just kept going and then moved to the next joke. And like, so there's this weird thing I do to myself where it's almost like I'm like ruining my set. And it's like, if I just, that is a barrier. I think that's a barrier I have right now. And I think if I just have some good material that I work through, and I know what makes everything work, and I just commit to executing in this planned way, like this is how I'm going to do all this, I probably could have a set where everyone's like dying from start to finish. Like it probably I could pull it together. But yeah, I guess that's what my barrier is right now, is having a consistency through a set. Okay. Yeah. Because right now I just have like peaks and valleys, where it's like there'll be things that hit, and then it'll kind of like that kind of died, and then the next thing hits again. Like, but it's very rare, or maybe almost never happens where like the whole set's just, it gets up here and then it just stays there the whole time. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the peaks and valleys are probably getting a lot lower and higher though, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that's 100% it. Like like I like how you included the lower, because that's true. I do get even lower valleys and then even higher peaks.
I meant higher valleys, lower peaks.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like it's just this is the average of I forget what it's called. It's called something where it's like the average, the regression to the mean. Yeah, that's what it is. The regression to the mean. Oh,
okay, sure. Where everything's like coming down and up to like meet the middle.
For progress.
Right.
For a progressive like line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the first time you do really, really well, you're like, I am the funniest. Maybe I am the funniest person in the world. Then when you like bomb the first time, you're like, I am the shittiest. Yeah. What the hell am I doing? And then like those get, they're kind of up and down all the way.
Right.
You're constantly going up. You're constantly progressing.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think what happens for me a lot is like I don't think like, so the valleys stay like low as fuck as far as like when a joke bombs, like it just bombs to hell. But like I've gotten better at recovering. That's the thing where like it used to be that like you'd go down here and you'd be like, shit, I just kind of stuck here. And then maybe towards the end, you're like, you kind of start climbing out, but not really.
Your ears start ringing.
Yeah. That's real, dude. No, but now I think nowadays what happens is if a joke just eats a dick, it'll go way down here, but then I'll like quickly go, okay, whew, and I like I get back up again. Whereas before I didn't, now, but yeah, now I get knocked down, I get up again. They're never gonna keep me down. Fucking somebody referenced that at the mic recently, and it's in my head now. Yeah,
Chris Pogue.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're probably right.
What do you think was the switch then to make it recover from the bombs a little bit better?
I think just like, it used to get in my head where I'm like, damn, like the reason you're bombing right now is because like you still haven't figured out how to be funny. And then so you're just like, you feel, it used to be where like you'd bomb and you would accept like, okay, I guess I'm just going to bomb tonight. Mm-hmm. But now I start bombing and I say, well, I don't have to keep bombing. I can just get back into it. Right. And so I believe in myself that I can get them back again. Mm-hmm. And whereas before, I think I just accept it. You just, once you bomb, you're like, all right, that's it. You just accept defeat. Yeah. You're just like, I guess it's over.
Well, this is the part of it. This is what everybody always talks about bombing.
Right, exactly. That's part of it is because you know that that's a thing that you have to do. So yeah, you start bombing and then you get into this. It's good to accept bombing and be like, that's a part of it. That's a healthy mindset. But then you get stuck in this point where you're like, okay, it's okay to bomb because that happens. And then when the bombing happens, you're like, I guess I'm just bombing. But it's like, well, no, you can also try to get the crowd back and stop bombing. You don't have to, just because you start bombing doesn't mean your whole set you have to keep bombing. You can come back up again. Yeah.
So if your first joke doesn't work and you're like, well, call this set a wash.
Yeah.
So you actually know this is how you get better is you just,
right.
The first joke might land. It's like, well, you got to land the next one. If that one doesn't land, well, that's how it kind of goes either way.
It's like every,
you have to at least try.
Yeah, exactly. Every joke is like, it's just another attempt. It's just another chance to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And so if it's like, you bomb the first one and you could even bomb the second one. And then it's like, but if you have like 4 more jokes you're going to do, it's like, okay, well, those might go well though.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be harder. It might be harder because you have to kind of get them back on your side again, but like it's totally possible. And you have to, that's one of those mental barriers. You have to acknowledge, you have to understand within yourself, like this is possible. I can get back to it and just like not be defeated by the bomb and just allow yourself to be like, it's like somebody slaps you across the face, but you're like, that doesn't mean you have to like be embarrassed now. You can just be like, well, this slapped me. Like, oh, well, I'll just keep talking to them and hope they don't slap me next time. Yeah.
Will Smith slapped me. I'd feel pretty embarrassed, but you don't have to. Yeah. One thing I kind of tell my stuff about bombing is like, you get so worked up in your own head. You're like, maybe I am bad, maybe, whatever. Then it's like the crowd hates me, the crowd thinks I'm terrible. It's like,
right.
Well, has people in the crowd been up before? Have they actually done stand before? It's like probably not. So it's like, what do they have to say to you?
Right.
Why would you care about what anybody says? And if it's like a comic that shits on you for bombing, it's like, well, you've never bombed before.
Yeah, of course, right?
I guarantee there's a few people that we know that would say they've never bombed before. When every set they do bombs, and everybody just gives them sympathy laughs, but we're not going to talk about that. But then that's the person where it's like, all right, well, okay, you said I sucked. All right, you need a little bit more self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because every set I do, I think I bomb until somebody tells me no. So I think I need to work on that. I don't need validation from other people, but it's hard to say you had like a great set at an open mic for me. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Because it's like, but you do have great sets. There are people that do. I mean, consistently. So yeah. It's more of a
you just gotta
self-talk.
Right. You just gotta learn to to recognize what's happening for what it is, and like it takes a while. Like some people like you are like more defeatist where they're like, oh man, this is terrible. Like even if it was like okay. And then like other people are delusional. They just think they're always fucking doing great when they're not.
Yeah.
You just have to find that it takes a while to like settle yourself and go, okay, like you're just totally realistic and like kind of objective where you're just like, and then somebody like, I think a lot of times when people ask me how I did, I give what I think is probably a pretty honest and objective answer, which is like, I did okay. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, because that's usually, I feel like that's the average set for me. Most sets for me is like, it's okay. It wasn't amazing. I didn't bomb the whole time or anything. It's just kind of some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. It's okay.
I should say I revert to that where everything's okay. I don't think I bomb until somebody says I didn't.
Oh,
everything's just okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things went well. I got up there. I did it. I came down. Like nothing bad happened. Nothing great happened.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle. But I don't think it's really possible to be consistently good at open mics.
Like, that's pretty hard.
Because it's like, well, you're just stuck there then.
Right. It's not like made for that or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like open mics are made for like learning.
Trying new stuff.
Yeah. And then you go to shows, and shows are for like testing. Shows are for testing, like putting yourself to a test. It's like taking a test. Mm-hmm. And then you can do well that test and get like a B plus, and you're like, oh cool, like I got a B plus, that's awesome. But then Mike is just like doing homework or reading the book. It's just studying, and just trying stuff. And
I've noticed I'm like a different person at my home open mics compared to like somewhere else. I feel like you're around family, people that have seen you in the beginning. They kind of like always put you in that frame, and then when you get out of it, you go to a different city or something like that, you do like, that's when you do really, really well. But every time I like that, Iowa Brewing or Joystick, I feel like I'm always just like there going through the motions until try new stuff until I get to a new place, and I can try that stuff in a new place where people don't know me and stuff, that's a lot of fun to see that growth.
Yeah, I think that is super fun. And I think that's the important part to like, that's the thing to take away is like, it's not how you're doing in your local scene, like at your like places you're at every week or whatever.
Yeah.
It's how are you doing once you step outside that and you go to a real show somewhere else badly, but you feel like your sets are like your scene are like, oh, they're pretty decent most of the time. Then you have to take a step back and realize like, okay, well, like something's happening here that's not translating to like a real show where it's like real crowds aren't laughing. It's like, well, why is that? That's like something's wrong with my stuff. But if you have the other way where it's like stuff is like doesn't always seem to work that well, it's wildly inconsistent at mics or whatever, but then you go to like a room somewhere that you've never been and everyone's laughing, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm probably fine. Like this. Yeah. It's like, not to say that you should be like content and be like, all right, I don't have to change it. Obviously, like you're always improving, but like I think that's a good measure for like where you're at is like, it's like anytime you drive somewhere else and like go up somewhere, how do you do there?
Where you don't know
where
people.
Where people don't know you and you
There's
don't know
no
them.
social proof. You just walk in and it's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do this set.
Right.
As opposed to like, if you're at like a local mic or somewhere, you walk in, you say hi to a bunch of people, everybody kind of sees like, oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying, I've seen that sort of stuff happen in real time before, where I see somebody who normally doesn't go to a certain room, and they'll go to these other rooms, and everyone there, they're high-fiving them, fist bump, everyone loves them, they get up, people are laughing, and you go and you see them come to this other place, and you realize like, yeah, some of those laughs were kind of maybe just laughs because they like you, and then they go to another place, and it's like just kind of bomb a little bit, and then it's like, because the joke, because when it comes time to just test the joke in front of people that don't know you and don't care, they're just like, I'm just here to laugh, and it's not working. It's like, that joke's just not funny enough. Then it's not
like people just like
people that think that they're thinking that they're hot shit, and then they just go and fucking just slam their face against a wall. Yeah.
And they'll still say they did great. What I've noticed too is like a lot of people add me on Facebook, and I think I've added a few people on Facebook, but the seeing what they do at a show or an open mic and what they post about is so funny. It's like, one guy, he's like, I probably got 3 minutes out of this last open mic that I can use, and it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah,
it's just so funny to see that. People, and I think everybody does it to an extent, but there's people that are public about it.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I heard. This is probably on Joe Rogan. I think one time I remember hearing they were talking about like people that tell them they've been doing comedy for like 10 years or whatever, like 7 years, and like they'll have like 10 minutes or something. And I think Joe was mentioning, he was talking about how like that's like not acceptable, dude. Like that's like a terrible, like there's no excuse for that. It's like if you've been doing it for that many years and you have 10 minutes, like what are you even doing? Yeah. Like, well, how you're like not even writing. And then like, I don't remember who he was talking about or to, but like, and then they added to that, and they're like, and also, by the way, if you have 10 minutes, that means like you probably have like 2 or something, or you have 3 minutes or something, right? It's like, it's not, most of the stuff you even have after all those years is not even that good. It's only like a little tiny bit of it that's actually good. But it's like, you need to, it's...
What sucks when those people put limits on you then, because you don't know that when you start.
Right.
You have no idea what's happening, and then somebody will come up to you and be like, well, I've been doing this for 10 years. This crowd, or they'll say, I've been doing this for 10 years, this crowd sucks. It's like, well, maybe you just suck, or like,
right. It's like, why are you?
Yeah,
why are you acting? Yeah, why are you making? Yeah, you're putting this barrier down for everybody and saying like, we can't collectively, we can't get over this. It's like, well, speak for yourself. I'm gonna try to get over this, right? Like, I'm not. Yeah, like don't put that on me. Yeah.
Or people that are like, well, it takes like 5 years to make a name for yourself, or 5 years to find your voice. It's like, well, I'm not 21 doing this.
Yeah,
I'm not, 18 or something like that. Like, I'm 100%. A grown man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get more life experience. You're like, all right, well, actually, I have a lot more to draw on than
right.
21-year-old me would be terrible. It'd be,
right.
It would be like a 5-year learning curve, probably.
Yeah, if I had started, it's like if I had started at fucking 21, I'd be like 13 years in now. And it's like
in the same place sometimes.
Right.
Not you, but you know what I mean? Like, you see those people like, I'm 15 years in,
But it's like, I like what you said there, because I feel like that all the time, because I started so late. I started at fucking 32 years old or whatever, and it's like, I'm not like, I'm not in it to, I'm not in this thing to like go at your fucking snail pace that everyone's going. It's like, fuck you, dude. I'm not like, if it's like, I'm always feeling like I'm trying to make up ground. So it's like, if most people are at a certain point in 10 years, it's like, dude, fuck that. I want to be at that point in 4 years. I'm not going to wait 10 years to get to, I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to fucking get there sooner. Because I don't have time for this shit for it to take long. And it's not to say that I'm like putting some sort of number on it saying like, oh, I got to be here and whatever, and like being impatient and not accept. It's like, I understand it's going to be a process and it's going to take years and it's going to take a lot of time, but I'm not going to accept going at that slow ass pace though. I'm going to fucking book it and do the best I can and hope that I can fucking jump, leapfrog ahead a little bit and like get to a point I'm happy with quicker. Mm-hmm. And accepting the fact that might not happen, but that being like my ambition of like trying to do that. Yeah.
And there is a difference between the people that have been doing it for 10 years that are kind of the people we're talking about versus the people that also see good stuff in you that help you along your way. Like they're not just all.
Yeah. What I really like, what I really respect is people, and I don't want to name any names because I don't want to like embarrass anybody, because some of these people, I really like these people. What I really like is like people that have been doing it for a while that are like, they're not like probably where they wanted to be. Like they're not where they envisioned themselves being at that point.
Yeah.
But they fucking, what they do is they take it on the chin and they say, okay, my aspirations might not be filled right now. I might not be where I thought I was going to be. But what they do is they're realistic about it. And then they look to the young comics and they say, here's some advice for you. This is what I did wrong that you should do differently or whatever. And they're just like, they use their experience, and instead of being like having an ego about it, they just use it as like, you know what I can do though? At least I can help other people get better. I really like that attitude that some people have. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's not just on where they're going or anything like that. It's just that maybe they don't have the same aspirations, or
right? Yeah, it might
everybody
be.
Does it for different reasons. Like not everybody wants to make it to like Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and not everybody wants to be big. Some people just like doing it, and they've done other things too. So it is like I do like taking advice from people like that for sure. We're just like taking advice from everybody. Really, has been doing it a while. Like Tom gave a lot of good advice last week, and I know Wes Shirley always gives great advice.
Yeah, Wes is great.
He's super funny.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about his story or anything like that. It'd be cool to interview him because seems like he's got a wealth of knowledge that he just holds tight to him. You can tell when he gives it. I think Carson Tuttle said it too. He's like, what it was like the last thing of Lucky Cat. He's like, Wes Shirley isn't here for himself. He's here for you guys. You just haven't realized it yet.
Yeah. I loved it when he said that, dude. That was fucking awesome. Yeah, because he said that, and it was like, it was really funny, and it was like that was part of why it was funny. It's like he nailed it. That's exactly it. It's like this old,
that always
like
got
you
me
think,
thinking,
it's like you think this fucking old fucker is here because he's like trying to get a Netflix, but it's like, no, he's here for the love of the game, and he's here to like fucking to nurture like the new talent. Like that's why he's here, because he likes that he has a passion for that, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So anytime Wes talks to me, I like love it because he's always giving me pretty good insight and stuff like that. So those are two people
Yeah, two people, Wes Shirley and Andy Landgravy. Whenever any of those two guys fucking come over and put a hand on my shoulder and start whispering in my ear, I fucking stop what I'm doing and I fucking listen. Yeah, immediately, because there's always some fucking nuggets that I can pull from it, and it's always I know that whatever they're telling me is going to be the truth and is going to be like honest feedback and whatever. Like I know that's going to be good stuff to listen to. So yeah, I always perk up.
But then you get the person that's like a couple of years younger than you or something like that, or maybe like that guy. I've been doing this for 20 years, and he gets up and bombs, and it's like okay, and then this crowd sucked anyways. It's like not a very good crowd. It's like I don't know. It seems like they liked everybody else quite a bit. It's like maybe you just suck.
It's funny. I've not like I can't think of like a particular. I'm like I don't have any stories to tell. There's no like specific thing that I'm thinking of when I'm saying this. But I just know that I can kind of just vaguely remember times where this kind of thing has happened. It's funny when you have a set that like where you do like you do like decently, or like this is like a pretty good set, and then like somebody else will fucking bomb, or they'll like or even if they don't totally bomb, like their set was objectively like if you're just listening for the laughs and you're pairing them side by side, you're like, well, I clearly did better than that person. And then then they try to come and talk to you and be like, you know what you should do, and they're trying to like give you advice. Like, dude, I think if anyone needs advice here, it's you. Like, don't fucking come talk to me when your set was worse than like. Stop it, dude. That's fucking weird. Like, and I would never fucking do. Even if my set was better than everyone else's, I know how early on in comedy I'm at. I'm very reluctant to like start chirping up and giving people advice like when they didn't ask for it. Like ever, I don't fucking ever do that. The only times I've ever given advice to pretty much anyone is when they directly ask me like, "What do you think about this?" or whatever, and they open that up. Then I'm like, "Oh, well, here's what I think," and I'll just tell them. But it's like I don't fucking go up to people like unprompted and be like, "You know what you should do?" I'm like, "Who the fuck am I to say that?" That's insane. Oh my god.
Yeah. You just kind of. Yeah, like the newer, you see like people coming in after you now that are kind of taking you and stuff like that.
So, right.
Yeah. But yeah, one thing I never want to do is say the crowd sucked.
It's like
I've heard it so many times, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
And if like you ever say it, you're just that same person that says it. So I'm like, I make it a point to never say it.
Anytime I've ever said that to myself, or I've talked it out loud, or I've thought about it in my head, I always catch myself. And then even if I believe that that's partially true, that like, well, the crowd was kind of bad, I always caveat that and say, well, hold on, that might be true, but also you could have done, like, there's a lot you could have done to make that better that you didn't do. Like, I always make sure to hammer that inside my head of like, it can both be true that this crowd was kind of shitty, and also you were kind of shitty. And it's like, it's like, cause you can watch people like, when the crowd is kind of shitty, and you can watch people come in and fucking pick it up and still get something out of it because they brought something to it.
I try and use it as a challenge. I think it was one time, I forget, it was I think it was Iowa Brewing, where I got up there and I looked around, it's like everybody was on their phone.
Right.
Like half the people were on their phone, and I said something, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Sorry for my insecurity came out for a second. Yeah. But after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to make sure nobody's on their phone after I'm done. And
right.
I shouldn't say I said that, but like towards the end, nobody was on their phone. Everybody was engaged. I was like, okay, that's a win. But now that I can see that, if I go up there again and I see everybody on their phone, the casino is a one-off.
Yeah.
When everybody's telling their jokes.
Yeah.
But if I go up there, like I want to try and get everybody on my side now. Like it's kind of like one of those things where you challenge yourself. And I'm sure like you started doing this at 21, 18, 19, you couldn't even see that far. You couldn't even do that. So, I mean, that's where I think a lot of people say, oh, it takes 5 years to be able to turn a crowd or something. That's like, well, it took you 5 years.
Right.
And that was not a diss. That's like you started when you're super young.
And it's like, that's like, cubing is a great thing to see this sort of thing in action, where it's like, it's so stupid to like, if you like, comedy is one of those places where people say stuff like that, where like, it takes this long. It's like, shut up, dude. It's so dumb. It's like such a dumb thing to say, because it's like, you look at cubing and like, there'll be people like back in the day where it's like, oh, it took, let's say it took someone like 3 years to be sub 10 at 3x3, like sub 10 seconds. And then you'll watch someone else that like is a kid who is like within 3 to 5 months they're sub 10, and it's like, go eat a fucking dick casserole. Do you see that shit? Like, stop fucking telling everybody this is the rule. Like, it's like, it took other people that long, and it probably will take some people that long. It's not going to, I can guarantee you this, it's not going to take everybody that long. So stop, it's kind of like you said, stop putting that on other people by speaking it out loud like it's the gospel.
Yeah.
Instead, let's acknowledge that different people go at different paces, and let's all try to be the fast pace. Let's all have those, if we take it seriously, right? Because like you said, some people have different goals for this, but like, if you're serious about it and you want to fucking take it far, it's like, yeah, let's stop putting that on ourselves, and let's say, hey, let's have ambitions where we try to shoot for like undercutting that time. Let's try to do better. Let's take the shit that everyone says it takes fucking 6 years to whatever. It's like, all right, let's try to do it in 4. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, why are we putting that on everybody? That's so stupid.
And I don't think people are consciously doing it though. That's
No,
the
they
thing.
don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're just
And
saying things.
I'm sure I've done similar things.
Sure,
with people too.
they're
which
just
is,
parroting things they've heard, and I've done that too in comedy where I've talked like I've said this a million times to people who were like, it seems to be the like it takes, you probably even heard me say it takes like 10 years to like become like decent at comedy, like, you know, whatever. Like before that you just kind of suck, right? It just it takes 10 years. Usually people, they start popping off and they're doing well. They're usually at year 10, 11, 12. Like that's usually where they're at, is somewhere in that range from like 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes or whatever. I've even said stuff like that. And I'm here to tell you now that if you've heard me say that, fucking don't listen. That's stupid. It's just a dumb thing to say.
Delete that from your memory.
Delete it from your head, dude. It's dumb. I'm dumb. You're dumb. We're all dumb. But we should try to be smart.
Or we could all be dumb together.
Yeah, we can all be dumb together and try to be
the
smarter.
smartest dumbs.
Yeah.
I think that's a good ending point.
Yeah.
We're all just smart dumbs or dumb smarts.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Stop being so dumb.
Just don't
But
be a
also,
dumb-
you're dumb, so
don't be
it's
a
okay.
dumb-dumb.
It's okay to be dumb.
Don't be a dumb dumb. Don't be a smart smart. Be
Yeah.
a dumb smart or a smart dumb.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
cool. Well, thanks again for listening to episode 6. We'll see you next week.
All right. Fucking peace.